Okay, time for a little chat. We have discussed this before in the first chapter, but I want to bring it to your attention again, and I'll keep adding this in every now and again. Risk assessment. As we get older, we risk assess for our grandchildren coming over for a visit, and we did it when our kids were little. We would go around the home and we would make sure that there was nothing in the home that would harm a child. You would go around and you'd check, have I put all my poisons away? Have I got rid of everything that they could possibly trip over if they're little? What can they bang their head on? All of the things you used to do, you now need to start doing for you. You are now the person that requires the risk assessment, and you need to do that yourself in your own homes and your gardens. It is so important that when you see something that requires attention, especially your trip hazards, that you remove them. You don't look at them and go, one day, because when that one day happens, and that one day does come around, you're then going to say, I wish I had. So let's not fall into that pattern as we get older. If there is a rug that you constantly trip over in your home, get rid of it. It needs to go. It's a hazard. You need to look at these things as a hazard. Oh, but it keeps my feet warm. But if you broke your leg or your hip or your arm or whatever, then who cares about the rug? Put a pair of socks on, but make sure they have grips on the bottom and they are not slippery either. It's assessing your risks. Okay, so it is paving that is not down properly. Paving that you look at, that you have tripped over before, that you think I really should fix that. Or a piece of paving that when you stand on it, the other side lifts. Again, that's a trip hazard. You want to get rid of them. Make sure you put your hose away properly. Make sure you put your extension cords away properly. Don't leave your vacuum cleaner out. Make sure that you turn the light on when you get up to go to the toilet in the evening, because it's the one time that you forget that you've left your shoes where they shouldn't be. That's another hazard. Have you left your shoes out? Do you make sure, I do you make sure that when you turn your light out, before you do turn that light out, do you scan your floor for things you may fall over in the night? Shoes, dressing gowns, towels, I don't know. I don't know how neat and tidy you are. But the older you get, the neater and tidier you need to be with clutter on the floor. You need to make sure that you're removing things, pushing them out of the way so that you don't trip over them. I'll give you an example. I hadn't quite finished vacuuming. It was late in the afternoon. I put the vacuum to one side. I thought, right, I'm going to finish that tomorrow. Now, you may be in a small unit. I'm in a 4x2 home, so it's a little bit bigger. Now, during the night, I had to get up and I needed to come into the kitchen, which meant I needed to travel through a couple of rooms. I'd left my vacuum cleaner out. This was a while ago. I did the wrong thing. I left the vacuum cleaner somewhere that if I didn't have the light on and I didn't see it, that I could have tripped over, which I did. Now, I didn't come to any harm, but that taught me not to do that. Think about the things you leave out before you turn the light out. Scan the floor. Have a look. Have you left anything out of place that you could possibly trip over? Shoes are a great one for tripping over, for leaving places. Thongs. My partner is constantly leaving his thongs at the end of the couch. I get up off of the couch and I get my feet wrapped around them. So now I've asked him, please can you put your thongs on the other side so that when I get up I can actually see them. By your feet you can't see them. It's constantly thinking, have I done everything to make sure that I'm safe? The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to assessing risk is the choice of your shoes. You need to spend a little bit of money on really good, well-fitting sneakers for you to exercise in, for you to walk in, to go shopping in. Poor fitting shoes will give you foot problem. Then you're at the podiatrist, then you're getting all of this treatment that you may not have needed in the first place. Older we get, more these things, as you know. You must have noticed your specialist's appointments are starting to creep up. We want to get that down. And there's simple things that we can do to make sure of with that. So the only two brands that I would really recommend for you to buy, and look, there's plenty of good ones out there, but the two that I know for a fact are super good are Asics, that's A-S-I-C-S, Asics, and Brooks. Asics and Brooks. They are not cheap. Cheapest place to go to get these if you are living in Western Australia. If you're not, I don't know. You'll have to find that out for yourself. Cheapest place is to go to Joondalup Gym Kids or any Gym Kids store. They do have really good deals on Asics and Brooks. They're not the latest season, but I know you don't care. The other thing that you want to do is avoid shoes like Skechers. If any of you have ever bought a pair of Skechers before, one of the things that they're great at is adhering to the floor. So much so that when you go to take another step, your foot gets so glued to the floor that you trip. I don't know if you've done this and you've had a pair of shoes like this, may not even be Skechers, it could be another brand altogether. As you're walking along, there's absolutely nothing to trip over, so you're minding your own business and you're constantly doing this. And you feel like a fool because it's just nothing to trip over, but your foot keeps getting stuck on the floor. I did this in class one day and somebody said to me, "Were you at blah blah shops yesterday?" And I went, "No, I wasn't." And they went, "Oh, I was wondering if you were watching me," because that's exactly what was happening. Couldn't figure out what was wrong. It is your shoes. You need to make sure that you buy a shoe that's got good grip but does not stick solid to the floor. If you do end up buying a pair of shoes like that, just make sure you maybe just wear them around the house where it's carpeted, where that's not going to happen. It's that shiny floor you've got to watch, but always a good grip on the shoe. The other reason that I like the Asics and the Brooks is because they come with a support in them. Well, the more expensive Asics do, I believe all Brooks come with that arch support in the shoe itself, which then means you don't have to go and then put something else in the shoe. But it's only the more expensive ones. Ask the people in the shop, say you want something with a good arch support in it. You need it. Don't wear little slip-on slippers to exercise in and to walk in. It's not good for your feet. It doesn't support your muscles. It doesn't make you walk the best you could either. Especially when you're doing exercises with me, I would much rather you wear a really good, well-fitting shoe. We do use weights, so I do suggest you do use shoes. Some of you love to go without shoes. You're more balanced without shoes. But the thing is, a lot of the time when you're somewhere where there is a possibility of the trip and the slip and the fall, you're wearing shoes. So that's why I like you to wear them in class, because you're not as balanced in shoes as what you are in bare feet. So we need to train the body to be stable and balanced in a good, well-fitting pair of shoes. So that is a little chat on risk assessment. The shoes fall under that label as well. So check out your homes as if you were checking it out for your grandkids or when your kids were little. It is important to avoid things that can be avoided. So anyway, go home, check it out, have a good check of your home and keep yourself safe. I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Make sure you press that subscribe button on your screen so you don't miss a thing. I'll see you in our next session.